everybody, and welcome back to Music with Meg. I'm Meg, and today I'm going to be telling you my top 10 tips for choosing your first violin. Choosing a new instrument can be pretty overwhelming, especially nowadays when you've got so many options online. But don't panic. Stick with me and I will help you find the perfect first violin. Tip number 1, don't buy, rent first. For absolute beginners, renting is a great way to start. It's way more affordable and it can help you figure out if the violin is the right choice for you before you make a big investment. Most music shops will allow you to rent an instrument, and some will even offer a rent-to-buy scheme where you can rent the instrument first and then purchase it later. If you are learning at school or through a local music service, they should also offer instrument hire, so make sure you ask. Tip number 2, get the right size. Whether you're buying or renting, you need to make sure you get the right size instrument for you. Violins come in lots of different sizes, but the most common ones are full size, 3/4 size, half size, and quarter size. You can get instruments that are smaller than quarter size for younger children, but most children will start on a quarter or half-sized violin. It's really important to play on the correct sized violin, as playing an instrument that's too big or too small will make it harder to learn and can also result in bad posture and even injury. Generally speaking, a quarter size violin would be suitable for a child aged 5 to 7. A half size violin might be for a child aged 7 to 9. 3/4 size might be aged 9 to 11, and a full-size violin should be suitable for anybody over the age of 11. However, it's not a one-size-fits-all, and there is a really simple test you can do to help find a correct-sized violin. To find the right size violin, pop the violin onto your left shoulder and stretch out your left arm. If you can wrap your left hand around the top of the scroll, then the violin is the right size for you. Now we're looking for our left arm to be at a nice 90-degree angle here. So if you can't reach the scroll at all, or you can touch the scroll but your arm is stretched out so your elbow is flat, then the violin is too big. If your arm stretches way beyond the scroll, or you can touch the scroll but your arm is bent way tighter than 90 degrees, then the violin is too small. If you're between two sizes, like you can touch the scroll on a bigger size but you can't quite wrap your hand all the way around, then go for the bigger size as you definitely grow into it. As you keep growing, you need to keep checking your violin to see if you need to upgrade. Remember, if your arm can stretch beyond the scroll, then it's time to go up to the next size. Tip number 3, go to a music store or a reputable instrument seller. If you can, you should always go into your local music store to try out the violins. Even if you don't find one that's right for you, this will give you an opportunity to test lots of different things and find the right size. The great thing about going into a music store is the staff can help you out and they'll have lots of different instruments for you to try. Usually the music shop will set up everything you need as well, so you don't need to worry about looking up tutorials and doing it yourself. It's also really good to establish a relationship with your local music shop, because if anything goes wrong with your violin, either now or years down the line, you can take it back to the music shop and they should be able to repair it for you. If you are going to buy a musical instrument online, then please make sure that you use a reputable retailer such as Gear for Music. I use Gear for Music to buy all of my instrument accessories, and they are always reliable, the prices are affordable, and they usually have pretty speedy delivery. Now, I'm not being paid by Gear for Music to say this, I just happen to really like their website. However, I do have some affiliate links of recommendations for beginner violins in the description below. So if you do want to buy a violin online, then I'd recommend you follow those links and check them out. You should always make sure that you check the returns policy when you're ordering an instrument online. My recommendation would be to order several instruments at once, try them all, decide which one's your favourite, and then send back the ones that you don't want. It's worth noting that if you buy an instrument online, they will be shipped without the bridge in order to protect the instrument. So there will be a certain amount of setting up at home that you'll need to do. You can ask your teacher to help you, or watch this space, because soon I will be making a video all about how to set up your new violin. Tip number 3, check for a proper setup. Once you've chosen a violin you like, give it a good look over to make sure that everything is in place. I would be looking through the F-holes inside the body of the violin to find the sound post. Now we want the sound post to be straight up and to be connecting the back and front plates of the violin. We also want to look at the bridge, which should be cut and positioned correctly. To check this, you're going to want to look at the bridge from different angles. The back of the bridge should be a perfect 90 degrees to the body of the violin. If you look at the bridge from above, it should be sitting perfectly in between the F-holes, and the feet of the bridge should be solidly connected to the body of the violin. The bridge shouldn't move when you touch it gently. You should notice that the arch of the bridge matches the curve of the strings, but it's not symmetrical. It's higher at the G string and lower at the E string. And you should also see that there are notches carved into the bridge for the strings to sit in. It's also worth checking the pegs of the violin to make sure they're not too tight and definitely not too loose and slippery. And I would also give everything on the violin a little nudge to make sure that it's fixed down securely. Tip number 5, look for a solid wooden instrument. It kind of goes without saying, but your violin should be made of spruce or maple and not any kind of composite materials. I do get asked a lot about colourful violins, and there's lots of thoughts on the matter, but here's my opinion. Colourful violins can be great for beginners or younger children to encourage them to pick up the instrument. However, I would not recommend buying a colourful violin as your forever instrument. Firstly, the lacquer or varnish that is used on a colourful violin can sometimes be thicker than the varnish that's used on a natural violin, and the thicker varnish can sometimes alter the sound of the violin, so you won't be getting the best quality. Secondly, if you are looking to take your instrument further, either professionally, or maybe you've started secondary school or high school and you want to join an orchestra, unfortunately, there is a little bit of prejudice against colourful violins. So I would say if you're just starting out, or maybe this is a smaller instrument for you and you're going to outgrow it, go ahead and buy yourself a colourful violin. But if you're a bit further along in your violin journey, then I would stick with a classic wooden, natural coloured violin. Tip number 6, pay attention to the bow. Most violins that come online will come with a bow. If you're more advanced as a player, you might want to buy your bow separately and try lots of different kinds. But if you're a beginner or early in your violin journey, then I'd recommend using the bow that comes with your violin. However, you will want to check a couple of things before you accept the bow. Firstly, twist this nut at the end clockwise, and you should see the hairs on the bow tighten. Twist it anti-clockwise and they should loosen. Now, if the nut is too stiff and won't twist correctly, or if the hairs on the bow look funny, or the stick of the bow is bent in any kind of unusual way, then you need to send this bow back and get one that works correctly. It's also worth checking that all of the different parts of the bow are secure and not wobbling or loose. Tip number 7, look for a full violin outfit. Most violins that you buy come in a package, or what we call an outfit. which will include the instrument, the bow, the case, and usually the rosin for the bow. I have seen some violin packages online that come with 20 plus items. They'll include a music stand, a fingerboard tape, a microphone, and all sorts of other things for the same price as an instrument on its own. What I would say is if somebody is selling a violin and 20 other accessories to go with it for the same price as a violin on its own, then I would be very concerned about what quality the instrument itself is going to be. So please don't be tempted to go for what looks like a good deal if you're going to get a worse instrument. When you're starting out, you might also want to purchase a music stand like this, a shoulder rest like this, a practice mute if you're worried about practicing around your neighbours, a cloth to clean your violin. This can be any old cloth or rag or scarf or bit of material, and fingerboard tape, although if you have a violin teacher, they will probably sort this out for you. You can find links to all of these violin accessories in the description below. Tip number 8, don't overpay. Your first violin doesn't need to be a priceless, beautiful antique. When you're just starting out, you're not going to be able to make the absolute best sound out of that instrument. So you're better off getting something that is within your price range. There are lots of violins that you can get for less than £100, and you can even look at local charity shops and Facebook Marketplace to find second-hand instruments. So don't let price put you off, because there are great instruments for all budgets. Tip number 9, and possibly the most important of all, is to listen to the violins. When you're shopping for a violin, if you're confident enough, then make sure you give it a good play. Or you can ask an employee at the shop or your music teacher to demo the instrument for you. You should try out a range of dynamics from loud to quiet, double stops across multiple strings, and different bowing techniques such as legato, staccato, and pizzicato. You're going to want to listen for the sound quality. Is it nice and clear across all the strings? Is the sound muffled, or is there any buzzing that you can hear? What is the action of the strings like? Are the strings raised too far off the fingerboard? Can you press them down easily to make a nice clear sound? Even if you've asked somebody to demonstrate the violin for you, you should make sure that you give it a go yourself to make sure that the violin is comfortable. Tip number 10 is ask for advice, but trust your instincts. If you have a violin teacher, you should definitely ask for their advice before you get your first violin. But if you don't have a music teacher, you could ask your friends, your family, or the employees who work in the music shop to give you their opinions too. But remember, this is your instrument. You're the one who's going to be playing it every day, so trust your instincts. If you really like the sound of a certain instrument, then don't let somebody else sway you. Make sure you pick the one that you're going to love to play. As I mentioned before, I have put some links in the description below for some violins and violin accessories that I recommend across a range of budgets, so do make sure you check those out. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you'll know when my next video comes. And if you want more violin content, including tutorials, you can visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/musicwithmeg. If you've got any questions, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!